There is a thing they call the magical world of online dating. It's been a week since I first started this grand adventure. So, using Plenty of Fish, which is POF.com, recommended to me by some guy at the singles table outside the UC Theater out front bar, listening to live music. He said his dad used it, so I thought, why not me? So I was going through various ones, and I thought, well, this one looks interesting bio. Someone in special ed, close to my age, says that she's not a typical California woman, more with a Midwest sensibility. Well, I'm from the Midwest, so I text her. There's some nice texting going back and forth a few times, and we decided to get together. So we decide that, okay, Wednesday, she said Wednesday or Thursday, but I go back Wednesday or Thursday evening I could do, and then that's a little too soon. So I say, so we somehow settle on, because there was this other event I wanted to go into Berkeley as live music. She wasn't interested in going to it, coming all the way over here from the Pacific Coast. So we said, all right, let's meet at 12:30, she said it, 12:30, at a special Chinese restaurant in Pacifica. Fantastic. It's all set on like Tuesday or Monday. We get all arranged, and in the meantime, we're making sure, perfect, back and forth, exact time, exact location, everything's set. I sent a confirmation email yesterday, just to make sure, to reassure her that I was going to show up. Now, a little background on this. It's really exciting. My first online dating experience. So a few weeks ago, I was driving my car around, and I had difficulty starting the car, and I got some neighbors across the street to help jumpstart the car, and it ran fine. Ran it that day, then the next day it sat, and then the following day it chugged a little bit to get started, and but it started and it worked fine. I went and got a haircut in Berkeley, parked, little trepidation. It still started, but it was not sounding so great. So I called AAA. I arranged a place at Trader Joe's, next to Trader Joe's in downtown Berkeley, and AAA came. Bam, bam. And AAA came. Bam, bam, bam. You know, AAA, I have been having such great luck with them. It's just very, very timely. They say 60 minutes, 15 minutes. I mean, talk about exceeding expectations. Great, great way to run a life and a business. Exceed expectations. So they come, they check the battery. The battery's no good. They install a new battery. It's been, a number of years since it was maybe the battery. It's maybe 3-4 years old. I don't know. I don't think I changed it when I bought it. Maybe it's 3 years old. And so it cost $160. But they came to me. I didn't have to ask them. Bam, bam, bam. Everything's cool. So flash forward to earlier this week. So I'm driving, and my battery light comes on. And then there's this other little signal on my dashboard that has like little headlight thing, and I'm going, okay, what's going on with the battery thing? So I stop at my mechanic on Thursday. Today is Saturday. I stop at my mechanic on Thursday or Friday afternoon, and I'd say, hey, the battery light's on. Could you check it? I'm thinking I'm going to have to bring it in for a special, consultation, but he comes right out. He hooks up the two battery testers on the battery, 13.5 volts. The engine's running and the battery light's on. So then he checks it against the alternator. Alternator seems to be working, and he says, I don't know. If it continues doing this, if the light keeps coming on, it's probably going to be the alternator. But right now, and I go and I look at the car, and the light goes off. The light's off. The battery light's off. And I go, wow, I think intimidated by his knowledge of auto mechanics. And I told him, wow, the car, I mean, the light's off. You must have intimidated it. So that's Thursday or Friday. So I'm driving around. I'm doing some other errands, delivering things I need to for real estate, open house signs, putting signs in and stuff. And I'm driving, and the battery light still sort of comes on. So, and then there's this a dashboard light that says something's going on with lights. So I go around and I check all the lights. There's one little running light that's out. I changed that. I try the brake lights. The brake lights are working fine. Now that's a little hard to do by yourself. The car's running, it's in park. I get a stick, like a board that I use to prop up the back window. And I stick it between the brake and the driver's seat. Brake and the driver's seat. It's jammed in there, so I can go around outside. I see the lights are working. The brake lights are working great. And so, so it's not the brake lights. I check the headlights. I check the turn signals in the front and the back, and everything seems to be working fine. But the light's still kind of like this warning light for headlights and stuff, and the battery light is still coming on in certain faint ways. I think, okay, well, still running fine, everything's good. So Friday night, everything's fine. I go listen to some live music. I see the mayor of Berkeley there. I say hello, mayor. I've known him from the Berkeley Chamber, not Berkeley Association, where he has been very supportive of it. And then so I get my car, I drive back home, get a good place to park it in the morning. So I already plan out what I'm going to do. It's Saturday, right? For days I've been saying, okay, I'm going to leave at 11 because the appointment, the first meeting at this Chinese restaurant, Pacifica, is at 12:30. Hour and a half. If there's traffic, if there's an accident, something comes up, no problem. And so I go, I get up early, I go to the post office, check my P.O. box, I go to another hardware store where I pick up some stones that I needed for my house, and then I head across toward Pacifica. It's 11:15. I get a text from this person saying, you know, it's going to be I'm going to be 15 minutes late. Is that okay? Let's meet at 12:45, just in case I think I'll be 5-10 minutes late. I say fine, no problem. I'm sort of standing in line for a while, going through the toll booth in the fast lane. It's fast track. It's not fast. So I'm there, and I'm kind of moving along, and then I come out of it, and then my car is just not like working right. I push down on the accelerator, and there's no increase in the tachometer. It's just like it's stuck at like 0. What is going on? I had my radio blasting, and having these great rock and roll rhythm and blues tunes. I'm singing to it. I'm really all like really excited about this date. Drive to Pacifica. It's a beautiful place. Only been there a couple times, but so I'm driving along, and all of a sudden it's just like nothing's happening, and I'm in this traffic and I'm not moving. Luckily I was in the far left-hand lane, so I pull off the edge, put on the hazard lights, and I'm sort of inching along. I thought, well, I can get over the bridge anyway, hopefully I can get over the bridge, and things are just like, it's just like not going. Things are just not going well. My car is just, and my radio just like stopped. I thought, well, maybe it was a fuse in my radio, or my radio just gave out and has been shorting out. That's the problem. So I take it, stick it on, take off. It's a faceplate, you know, on, off. Nothing's working. I'm still slowly inching along the left-hand shoulder up the bridge, and I see these flashing lights up ahead, and it's a Caltrans tow truck and a police car. So I get out and I say, what's going on? And they say, well, you can't get a AAA here. You have to get Caltrans to tow you off, and then you can get AAA. So I'm, oh my God! And my car, it dies. It just won't start. Nothing's happening. Of course, my cell phone's at 54% battery, and it is rapidly declining. So I'm on the line to AAA and talking to them, and it's so noisy. I can hardly hear. I've got windows down. I've got my Moonroof pulled open. Nothing is closing. Nothing will close. There's no electricity. It won't start. So I'm talking to AAA. They say they'll contact Caltrans, and Caltrans had already left. That thing up ahead had already left, and then there's this other Caltrans truck coming behind. Okay, so in the meantime, I am texting. I'm texting this date in Pacifica. I'm saying, hey, I'm sorry, I'm stuck on the Bay Bridge. This is like at 11:30, 11:45. I'm due there at 12:30. I'm thinking, well, maybe something will happen. Maybe I'll be able to get going. And so I get a response. This was after, you know, she said she was going to be 5 to 10 minutes late, but let's make it 12:45. So I'm thinking, okay, that's good. I got a little extra leeway. And so nothing's happening. And in the meantime, I'm still trying to text her, tell her the status of things. And she says, you're a liar. She says, like, I say I'm stuck on the Bay Bridge and I'll do what I can to get there, but I may not be able to make it. You are a liar. And so I'm kind of shocked by that. I send some things back and forth. No, I'm not a liar. I'm honest. This is really happening. It's really terrible. I'm sorry about this. And she writes back, all the plans that she had made for the weekend originally, and she had to cancel those. She was going to go out of town. She was going to do this and that. She totally rearranged her plans just for me. And now I destroyed it, and so I'm a liar. And she never wants to see me again. Great. This is like my first dating experience online, and I'm already having all these issues. So I'm sitting there and I go, whatever, there's nothing I can do about it. So Caltrans comes up. I'm taking pictures. I'm trying to post some of these pictures onto Plenty of Fish as my profile pictures to prove, because we don't text, I can't text that this is going on, that I'm not a liar. I'm just trying to deal with life, It sucks. You apologize and it doesn't make any difference. So anyway, Caltrans comes up, really nice person, great guy. He gets my car onto the back of the bed of the truck. Got pictures of it, I'll show you. And then we go out, have to go up over the new part of the bridge. We go onto Treasure Island, have to circle around, and then get back on. He checks to make sure that the car isn't going to slide when it's going on the steep downhill back onto the freeway. And then we're going, and I'm in the meantime, AAA said, well, call us back after Caltrans gets to you. My cell phone, I don't have a charger. It's at 24%, or it's starting to get to like 9%, or it's starting to get to like 9%. And so I'm calling AAA again. I'm saying, East Lot, this is where you have to pick me up. Everyone knows where it is, and they're going, what? It's noisy, and it's like they don't quite get it. I'm thinking, I just hope that my cell phone battery does not run out before AAA picks me up. In the meantime, I'm trying to figure out, is there a place who can fix my car today? It's Saturday. It's like 12:30 now. 12:45. I got to 12:45. Already missed the date, obviously. That was by the time I got over to the East Lot. Dropped off. Great Caltrans person, really nice. We talked about being around during the earthquake, the last big earthquake, and how people don't understand what it was like. Really great experience. I mean, I'm enjoying speaking with these people who are helping me out in this time. And I mentioned that I had this date in Pacifica, and it's all messed up. And she called me a liar, and everyone's giving me advice saying, forget her. If she doesn't trust you at this point already, then it is a problem. Warning sign. Anyway, so the battery person shows up from AAA very quickly tests my battery. He says it's dead. And this is a brand new battery 3 weeks earlier. So the alternator apparently has not been charging. I've just been running, well, at least Saturday morning, I've been running on just the battery. Because it was charging before. It was charging yesterday. And it was measured. So I'm in the east lot. The battery guy comes. We charge up. He tests it. It's not that alternator. So I'm looking. When is my mechanic open? Is he open today? No. Where am I going to have it towed to? So I've got classic AAA. I've got 5 miles, and then I have to start paying for mileage. So I'm looking around. Is there anywhere open? Anywhere open? This is taking up battery on my cell phone, right? And AAA said, okay, we'll send a tow truck also. And I'm trying to like see if there's anything else going on Plenty of Fish. Any other messages that are like, oh, I'm sorry I called you a liar. Sorry I didn't believe you. I mean, I did upload one picture of the Caltrans truck pulling up behind my car or in front of it. Just, I mean, I'm not a liar. I have high integrity, and it really irks me. It goes to my soul when someone calls me a liar, and I'm just doing the best I can in life when shit happens. Because it does. And I'm wondering also, I said, I pulled over the side, it's like, what's going on? Is this a premonition? Is this a premonition? Now, this individual also, in the About Me, says, I am not like all these other California people. I have the Midwestern mentality. I think I told you this, right? And that when she meets someone, she'll know, intuitively, she'll know if this is a good person or not. Well, we aren't meeting face to face. I'm stuck in my car, just trying to get it back across the bridge so I can get it fixed. And everyone else is saying, hey, you know, so the battery, I get it fixed. The guy's almost ready to leave. I go, oh my God, I have windows open. If I'm going to drop it off somewhere, the windows have to be closed, and my sunroof. So I go back over. The battery guy's still there. I say, could you help me, like, at least so I can close my windows? He's fine. Very accommodating. It's nice. Well, almost everyone. So we've got the, so he puts the charger, the little charger thing, pack on there. I start the car, so it runs. I get all the windows closed. He takes off, and the tow truck's there in a minute. They said it takes 60 minutes, and it's like 10 minutes. Life is on my side, at least on that side of the bridge, on the east side of the bridge. West side, don't know what's going on there. So it's 12:45. I'm trying to figure out some new auto shop. So I find an auto shop. I call several places. The battery is running down. Battery is running down. It's like at 1%. 1% on my phone means that, and I'm using this phone right now, 1% because I'm back home. I got it charged a little bit because I wanted to record this. I wanted this experience fresh. So at any rate, DeAndre, tow truck guy, AAA, picks me up, hooks everything up. We're headed for a shop that is less than 5 miles from the pickup spot. It's like 4.8. Nice guy, having a great conversation back and forth. I mentioned the date. He said, oh yeah, that really sucks. So sorry about that slight interruption. My Airbnb guest just arrived, so he hadn't seen my instructional video. So anyway, I'm riding in the AAA truck with DeAndre. We're having a great conversation, talking about dating apps, talking about all this kind of stuff. He met his girlfriend through a dating app, a different one. But Plenty of Fish seems to be okay, you know, people know of it. So we're driving along, things are good. We pull up to the auto shop. He knows of it before, and it is closed. It was supposed to be, but I had talked to the owner on the telephone. He said just, you know, park it there anywhere on the street. And so we're looking in. Can't exactly do it right on the street because it's 2-hour parking. He wants me to get a ticket. So just as we're looking at things, there is someone mowing the yard mowing a City of Berkeley employee, mowing the median strip, the dead grass in the middle, and They said, oh, actually the sign there, he moved the sign to cover up the lock on the gate because it wasn't locked. And he wanted to make sure no one went in. So, wow, that's kind of interesting. And then there's this other guy that comes over and he says, oh, I have a lock to the gate and everything because he worked there. So his name's Eric. And so anyway, DeAndre had told me that, well, listen, just we'll put the charger. So Andre puts the charger connected to the battery. You take the car off the back of the bed of the tow truck. It's sitting in the street, and I have to move it up over the sidewalk and into position. First, I'm looking between these two cars. I go measure it out, and I go, I think I can just slide it in there so it's in front of the gate, but not on the street where I could get a ticket. Don't want to have a lot of extra costs because the car broke down on the bridge going to a date. Trying to reduce my costs. So he says, well, maybe you could park it over here. And this other guy comes over, Eric, who works there part-time. And he says, yeah, you could just park it here. It's not a problem. So instead of parking it between a bunch of other cars, which is pretty narrow, just barely fit, then there's a car, and I just park on the side of the car where there's no other cars. So DeAndre puts the charger pack on top of the battery. The hood is down on top of it, but still, propped up a little bit. I start the engine, it runs, I back it up, and then I move it into position, and I turn it off. And everyone is praising me. They say, my God, I've never seen anyone park it in such a perfect position. This is my day. I mean, things are going well for me. Triple A, bam, bam, bam. Caltrans, bam. They're all showing up in this perfect coordinated timing as if I was in a movie or a dream. Except, of course, I'm missing this date, right? So I'm just going along with the flow. I'm just trying to, this is what my life is right now, so just do it. And getting praise for parking, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but everyone else, very impressed. Turned it off. They take the charger off. I say goodbye to DeAndre. Yes, I will give you a stellar report because he deserved it. AAA surveys. And then Eric is there, and he's saying, so how are you going to get back? Where do you live? I say Richmond. He says, how are you going to get back? I said, well, I'm going to take bus and BART. There were a few items that I had taken with me that were valuable. I didn't want to leave in the car overnight. This is Sunday. This is Saturday. And so I have these things that are a little clunky. He says, well, I'll give you a ride in my truck if you give me a little gas money. Not a bad deal. My hip's hurting a little bit. I don't want to have to do a whole lot of walking, transfers, that kind of thing with a heavy load. So I said, great. So we go over, and Eric has me. I'm talking to the boss of the auto shop, too, on my phone. And again, DeAndre helped me get it charged up in his truck, so I don't feel quite so bad. I can text to Plenty of Fish. I can make some calls if I need to. So I talk to the owner of the shop. Eric told me to call him and let him know that Eric was going to take care of me and give me a ride to my house. Owner says, great, fine, yeah, Eric is a great guy, all this. So I feel reassured. I mean, do I know Eric? No. Do I know any of these people? No. First time, I just trust them up front. I trust them because they're wearing uniforms and stuff. But Eric, he's not wearing a uniform or anything, but he seems cool. He works there. He had a key to the gate. So we turn around. We go over to the side of the street there, and I look at Eric's truck, and it is a beater. I mean, this truck is, I don't know, was it a 60s truck perhaps, or a 70s? It's not shiny by any means. The paint is all really old, very dull looking. It's got a couple doors in the, it's a pickup truck, a couple doors holding stuff in. It's piled with stuff in the back of it. And then I look in the front window where the driver's seat is, and it's packed full of stuff. I mean, there's no space whatsoever. I'm surprised there's space for the driver. So I'm looking at it, and so I open the door, and there's all this stuff in the way, and it's like I'm thinking, how am I going to sit in there? Maybe I should take the bus and BART after all. But Eric comes around, he starts pulling stuff out and just tossing it up on the back of the pickup truck. And I'm thinking, well, we aren't going to go on the freeway because that stuff is going to create a huge hazard. So we pull out things, and the car seat, the bench of the truck is like this. It's an angle like this. I'm thinking, how am I going to sit there? So I keep pushing against the bench, and it almost gets to 90 degrees, not quite. There's just enough space to squeeze in with the couple items that I'm taking with me. So I get in. Eric says, okay, let's go. And so we go, instead of going on the main street on San Pablo and just heading to Richmond, we have to go a slight U-turn. We're going through the back quiet streets of Berkeley. And I can be a very good listener. It's part of my profession to listen and hear what people say. So Eric starts telling me about, well, he actually did this before we got in the truck, but he said, I was in prison. I spent 5 years in prison. I'm thinking, oh, okay, that happens. And he says, yeah, there were these gangbangers around me, and so I shot at them. And then eventually I just took the gun, I threw it, and it was off somewhere, because the police were coming, because somebody had called about the gangbangers, and so he ended up going to prison for 5 years because he didn't kill anyone or anything, I don't think. Maybe he did. But anyway, he went to prison because of shooting at these gang members who were shooting at him. Very reassuring. I mean, this establishes instantaneous trust with your passenger in the seat, right? So I'm going along. I've traveled a lot of places. I've been in a lot of very interesting human situations. And so I'm in this truck. It's like a hoarder's dream. Stuff just stacked everywhere. I gotta say, I didn't feel totally uncomfortable. But it was like about 80%, 90, 150% over the top compared to how I keep my car. Believe me. So anyway, we're driving along, and then he's talking about some other experiences and stuff, and he's going through the back streets, and he's a safe driver. He's a good driver. I'm paying attention because I don't want to be sideswiped in this truck. The passenger side door was replaced, and the whole outside of it is just the frame, and there's no way to open it. There's no latch on the outside. So this is the kind of place it is. And I did get a picture of the dashboard at one point. I wish I'd taken a picture of the whole truck so I could really give you the flavor of this unique experience. This was like around, what was it, 2:30, 2:30, maybe 2:30? What would the date have been at this time? Instead, I am having my day-to-day, just going along with the flow, just getting home after my car broke down on the bridge. Getting a ride from a helpful soul. So we're going along. He says, would you mind if we go to the recycle center? I need to drop off some things. It's already if I had taken the bus and BART, probably would have been home within half an hour. It's already a half hour. I think, okay, whatever. So we're going along. He's still telling more stories about his life and things of that nature. And at the recycle center, there's this really long line of trucks all lined up. But he explains, oh, well, they aren't going in the same entrance we are. So he was able to go around and then cut into this, keep clear area. We go in, and then we're sitting in line in this truck. And there's several other trucks in front of them. And we're waiting to drop off plastic bottles and aluminum cans that he had collected to make a little extra money. So we're sitting there, we're talking. I've seen people out in front of my house on trash day, early trash day, after we put our recycle bins out, going through our recycling and pulling out all the plastic and the aluminum cans. I've seen this. I've talked to some of those people. So I don't really know the back end side of this whole process. And so it's an opportunity to learn something about those who, whether it's their whole living or supplementing, they collect recyclables and take them to recycle centers in order to get paid. So we're sitting there, and there's a truck up ahead. It's a pickup truck, low bed, much lower than this big red Ford truck. And Eric is explaining to me. I asked, and I said, well, how do they measure what it is? It looks like, they're dumping these huge plastic bags full of stuff. And he's going, wow, that's a lot of money right there. That one's maybe, I don't know, $30, $40, $3, $25. He seems to know his stuff. So I said, how do they measure? By the item? And they said, no, by the pound. So it's like $1.50 per pound of aluminum. And it's $1.20 per pound of plastic bottles. So they dump it in this conveyor belt. It weighs it, and then it goes up this conveyor belt. And so I am thinking, wow, that is, that's a lot of work. So I've seen people do that. That's a lot of work for that small amount of money. And he's running his engine right now. I said, well, why don't you turn it off? Because you're probably wasting as much gas as what you're going to make. He says, yeah, my friends tell me that all the time, but when you start it up, you use more gas. I don't think that's true, because the truck's already warmed up. So he turns it off. We're waiting. He says, well, when that truck is gone, we can cut in line in front of these other people. So we're watching it. He's telling me other things. And then I'm watching very slowly. After another 20 minutes or so, these other cars start to move forward. They unload stuff, move forward. The pickup truck leaves. The other things move forward. It's our turn. And they're motioning, come on, move. And so I'm waiting. And they say, move. And I'm waiting. And I look over, and Eric is snoring. He's dead out. Eric, I'm pushing at him. Eric, wake up. We got to move. Half a minute later, he's, okay. So we pull up. Takes us another 5 minutes or so. He unloads these things. I don't know what to do. I don't know which is recycled stuff or what in the back of his truck, including the stuff that was in the front seat that he had to unload so I could sit there. So we go. And I think he said that he got $21 for all the stuff that he did. So we're sitting there for an hour. I don't know how much time. I said, well, where do you get these things? And he collects them from a couple different places. It takes a while to collect enough to do this, but it's hard. People who do this recycling, it's hard life. That is a hard life. When people have to spend their valuable heartbeats collecting these cans and plastic bottles and take it all the way there to the recycling. I mean, it's great for the environment. But anyway, so we go over across Gilman, up San Pablo, gas station there. I said, would $20 be fine? He said, yeah, okay, I'll put $10 of gas, and then I'll keep the other 10 for food or something. So I'm fine. We get in the gas place. It's pretty crowded. He has to go forward, back to finally get in position. And this other guy finally leaves, and we get in position. He goes, he gets the $10 of gas. Another 15 minutes delay. I could have already been home if I'd taken bus and BART, no doubt. And there were many times there when I was thinking maybe I should get out of this truck and just go on my own. But I relented. I continued with Eric. So Eric has a few more stories, this and that, and he's telling me about Alaska. I guess he moved to Alaska, he lived there. And he was in Alaska, and there was this cute girl that he really liked. And the cute girl's grandmother had some misgivings about him and wouldn't let the girl date him. So he's telling me the background about this, and he said, the grandmother said that she saw me in my car taking some prostitutes somewhere. And that's what the grandmother said. I don't trust that guy because he's like driving prostitutes around. Well, Eric explained to me, it's a very innocent thing. A friend of his had said, listen, will you take these girls and take them to their work? And so a very innocent thing, right? So Eric tells me this, and he says, and so this pimp friend of his, who he would do some taxi work for, was giving him some advice about dating. He's saying, well, just forget about this girl whose grandmother doesn't trust you, because if there's not trust at the very beginning, believe me, the relationship's going to be bad. Okay, now this was Eric telling me what the pimp advised him on. So it's almost secondhand, not quite third hand. So we may not be able to, I wasn't sure if I could totally rely on that advice, but once again, one of the brothers in my process of going back after breaking down on the bridge on my way to a Plenty of Fish date in Pacifica, a brother once again, I second him, advises if there's not trust, if someone thinks you're a liar at the beginning, it is not going to work out. This message is like, it's pretty consistent. So eventually, we're getting there close to the BART station, Richmond BART station. I might direct them there. My house where I'm living is very close to there. And there's this other white car, a smaller white car that has broken down on the road right before the BART station. And we're going around and we're ready to make a turn. And Eric's saying, I just don't feel right about not helping the brother out. And I'm thinking, we're so close. We're so close to my house. Another delay. Okay, let's go ahead and go pick him up. Whatever. So we have to make a couple U-turns through the BART station, back on the street, and then another U-turn. And the guy is just so thankful that because it's on an incline. This car, it's sort of like my car was on an incline. So there's this other car on this incline. And I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty weird. It's like a duplication of being helped out on the bridge, but it's just us doing it instead of Caltrans and AAA. So how could I refuse to do it? So as we pull around, and he's just going to push his pickup truck into the back of this car that looked like it had been run into a number of times already anyway. And as the guy was saying, he said, thank you so much. It's just what a blessing. I plan to get rid of the car in another week or so, but I need it for this week. So as we're pushing it and to make the turn in the direction we're going, Eric is going, I'm going to buy that car. I'm going to buy that car, and then I'm going to fix it up because I'm a hustler. I know how to do things. I know how to make money. I'm thinking, wow. So we go past, the guy pulls over. Yes, for some reason he's able to drive enough, far enough to pull over the side of the road. And then we make a U-turn, come back. Eric gets out of the car. I'm just out of his truck. I'm just waiting, looking out through the window. He goes over and talks to this gentleman. He says, how much do you want for this? I think I'll sell it for $400. Okay, I want it, Eric is saying. Eric's out wheeling and dealing with this. I mean, I think it's a piece of crap looking car. And some of the windows are broken. It's probably was in an accident and skewed. Who knows? But Eric thinks he can make some money off of it. So it's Eric's life. I'm along for the ride with Eric. So another 10 minutes later, and I'm like 4 blocks from my house. I could have gotten outside. It's okay. I can get it from here. I didn't do that. I just sat there watching this interaction. And it also seemed like Eric and this other man knew a few people from prison. I mean, they were having this lively conversation. Oh, you know so-and-so and so. Interesting. So anyway, then we're starting to go. I said, Eric, I live back that direction. We're going, oh, okay. So we make another big U-turn. We go back. He drops me off. Everything is cool. I get back, and that's when I decide I think I'll make a video of this while it's still fresh in my mind. I'm back. It's like around 4 o'clock. Now, I figured that if I had that date in Pacifica, because I was planning on coming back to Berkeley to go to another event in the evening, This started at 7:30. I'd probably have left at about 4 o'clock anyway. So this whole time period on the bridge, all the Caltrans, all the double triple A, going to the auto shop, Eric's meandering process of getting me back in front of my home. So I didn't have to walk, didn't have to strain my hip. That whole process would have been about the same time I was on this date anyway. What a date! I mean, what an alternative to this specific date. So I just had to start recording it while it was still very fresh in my mind. And I started sharing this with other people, and other people had some very, very interesting feedback themselves. But I won't go into that. So at this point, that's sort of the conclusion of what happened. And because of the, and then that was around 5:30 or so, in Plenty of Fish, I get this text message after occasionally I'd filled in. I said I had to do this, a little bit of texting back and forth. And eventually there's this like response saying, I believe you, ... Get in touch if you want to or whatever. And I'm thinking, 4 hours. It's like 4 hours. What made her suddenly believe me when at first I am a liar and she never wants to see me? Don't know. It's Saturday afternoon. I'm getting ready to go to this backyard Berkeley concert with some hard rock music and some comedians. So, finish up my videos, start to do a little editing, get ready, and then I hop on public transportation again. I take BART, and then I take a bus, a different route, a little bit of walking, a little bit of pain in my hip, to get to this other venue. I would have driven directly from Pacifica, but I do not have the car. It is in the shop. And then it took a while in the shop for the next several days to actually diagnose, fix, and make my car stable again. It was actually, the alternator went out, the battery was fine even though it had gone down. Quite a ways, it had to get charged back up, but I didn't have to replace the battery. Good thing. The alternator was the problem. It wasn't a parasitic drain, which I learned about. It could have been that. A parasitic drain was draining the battery while you're sitting there. More drain than the alternator's putting into the battery, so it just keeps going down, and eventually you're only running the engine off of the battery and not the recharging of the battery. Parasitic drain, important thing to know. Even if you're a natural medicine doctor, parasites, big problem in humans and in cars. But so a day or two, it wasn't until Tuesday that I was actually able, Tuesday evening, I was able to pick up my car because the alternator that was put in, it was a bad one. They put in a new alternator and it was not charging right. It was draining. It was parasitically draining the battery too. So I had to replace another battery. It took until Tuesday to get my car back. Wait a couple days just to be sure the car was running and would start every day. No battery signs on the dash. Before I tried to, I decided I'll just be local. I'm not going to take any long trips anywhere until I know that the car is solid, because I tried it before and I went dead on the Bay Bridge. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. Thanks for listening. Totally true, not a lie. You can't make this stuff up. Life can be so unusual. Why do you think these TV shows are so good? Because they base these bizarre stories on real life. I am amazed what real life serves up that is so creative, so crazy, so unbelievable. But this is my true story. You can believe it. So when it all comes down to the end of things, what do I do? How should I move forward in this online dating situation with this one particular person who said, you are a liar. I never want to meet you. And then 5 hours later says, well, I believe you. What's going on inside the mind and heart of this individual? Do I follow the advice of every single brother in my process of getting off the bridge, dropping my car off, and finally getting my car fixed? Do I follow what they say and just not pursue this because they said, if there is not a trust at the beginning, the relationship is going to fail. So don't bother. Move on. A lot of people say that. Very, very solid advice. Very solid advice. So what I ended up doing is a matter for the next story. Given the totality of what I've explained to you, what the situation was, what would you do? What advice would you give me if you were my dating guru? Should I try to have a date with this same person, or should I just call it quits, say no thanks, or just don't say anything, just ghost the person? What would you do? What do you think what do you think I should do? Let me know.